Stream is healthy. Go.
Hello and welcome to How to Do a Life Audit. I am one of your co-hosts, Tina Thrussell, and I have with me my husband and business partner.
Hello, my name is Neil Thrussell, and I'm really excited to be here with you today.
We absolutely love supporting people who are motivated to improve their lives, and we're ready to help you complete a life audit. Remove compromises from your life, make changes so that you can experience the maximum happiness you deserve and achieve all of your goals and aspirations. If you have any questions during our time together, please feel free to post them in the chat, and we'll do our best to respond to them quite quickly. Now, please bear with us. This is the first time using this software, so we might have some hiccups, but we're trusting that things will go well. Before we begin, we'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are. Neil and I have dedicated the last 15 years of our life to sharing experiences that help people amplify the sense of purpose, passion, peace, and joy in their lives. We love supporting people like you who take action to support themselves. Tonight, we're here to share with you the importance of mindfulness and meditation to help you gain clarity, understanding, and calmness in your life. Again, I add, if you have any questions, just feel free to post your questions in the chat box.
I've noticed there's a little bit of a lag, so we may have moved on by the time we get your chat, but that's okay. Just put your comments in the chat and we will get them.
Great. So we do have a long list of sources and resources that we use to prepare this webinar, and we will make that available to you at the end of this presentation. So you can email us at info@shindao.com and put in the subject line, "Send Life Audit," and that will be our cue to send you a PDF file that lists all of the links for the resources that we use to prepare this. So you'll have all the references to come back to. So the first question is, what is a life audit?
What a great question!
It is a great question, isn't it? A life audit is a fairly straightforward concept, but many of us get hung up on it simply because the thought alone can seem quite daunting. I mean, auditing your whole life? What? Simply put, a life audit is when you take a long, detailed, and honest look at the various areas in your life to assess which are and aren't helping you live to your highest potential.
And the key is an honest look.
Absolutely. We can do a good job of telling ourselves stories, so we want to get to the truth of what's real and what's in your heart. So this life audit involves becoming aware of how you want your life to align with your mission and assessing your current situation to see how it alters from that. This can involve some honest soul searching, digging deep, and sometimes even making some difficult decisions. So we warn you that it's not for the faint of heart. But when carried out correctly, honestly, and steadily, life audits can be incredibly empowering and inspiring. Many of our clients have noticed improvements in their life beyond the areas which they focused their attention on in their life audit. So as an example, you might make some positive changes in your diet and your work life ends up improving because your health has improved. Making a change in your relationship can also improve your environment. It can be so powerful. As you change things in one area, others change. So we're going to discuss the areas where you might need to make some changes in your life to align with your goals and your mission. We'll also discuss ways for you to implement the changes easily and what to look for as signs and signals in your outer environment that may indicate something might not be quite right in your inner environment. Has anybody watching online with thus done a previous life audit, or do you know anybody that has? If you've got anything to share about that, leave your comments in the chat. So, the big question, what is your mission?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are going to say. So before we go any further, we want to stress that doing a life audit without a clear goal or an idea regarding how you want your life to align is not necessarily going to be so effective. In order to make an effective life audit and truly maximize your chances of achieving your purpose and happiness, you have to have a clear idea of how you want your life to appear and feel after you've done the audit. Some people call it a mission, some people call it a vocation, a calling. No matter what word you use to describe it, it all comes down to that sense of purpose, fulfillment, and achievement you receive from integrating and balancing your work with your personal lives and your personal goals or intentions. It might be that you see yourself cultivating a healthier lifestyle. That's great, but what exactly does that entail? Vaguely labeling what you want greatly decreases your chances of achieving your goal. To succeed, you must dig deep, examine your wishes, be critical and detailed in your approach to how you want to create your plan of action. A personal mission statement will help you articulate your values and beliefs, determine your personal definition of success, and share your talents with the world. A mission can help you generate a sense of clarity and focus around what it is you're trying to achieve by doing the life audit.
What the cool thing is that I've discovered and we've discovered is that everybody's mission statement will be different. Tina's mission is different than my mission.
Absolutely. And it really doesn't even matter what kind of field of work that you're in, what your personal life looks like, what your goals are. There is one key factor, and that is,
I don't know. How about my why?
yeah, you have to find your why. Why is it that you want to do what you want to do?
So we've got a really good resource on working with your mission statement. So back to ask for the resources at the very end. So we'll send that to you.
Mm-hmm. So how do you make a mission statement? That's a good question.
Oh, too soon.
Yep.
Premature clicking.
The best way to get to the bottom of your mission is to follow these steps and dedicate a small amount of time to simply write. So have a quiet space, no interruptions, and write. Step 1. What does your ideal life look like? Where would you see this life audit taking you? In other words, what's the bigger picture? You can take into account your relationships, your career, your environment, your goals, your motivations, your contributions to the world, your family time, your passions, your pastimes. So what does your ideal life look like? That's step 1. Step 2.
Okay, and just like really spend some time in this and be willing to dream and be willing to look at what it is that you really want. Be willing to be vulnerable and dig deep.
Mm-hmm. So the second step is to write down what your current situation looks like in each of those areas that you identified in describing your ideal life. So this is where that honesty comes into play again. You need to be really impartial, as if you were somebody else looking at your list and saying, how great are my relationships? How happy am I with this career? Is my living environment what I want it to be? Is my working environment what I want it to be? What's missing? What more do I want? This is where you start to do the digging. And then here's the next important thing. Step 3 is to compare the two.
Yep.
A powerful exercise that clearly shows you which areas of your life you need to focus on and where the biggest changes need to be made. It will help you gain clarity and maybe even show you things that you weren't aware of.
No.
Yeah. So again, you list your ideal life, you list the various areas and break that down. How are you doing in those areas of your life right now? And then compare what the vision is and what's the reality. Okay, alignment and self-awareness. The reason why clarifying your personal goals and mission statement is so important lies within the innate power we all possess to create and manifest our desires. I mean, if you're not sure what your desires are, how on earth do you manifest them? How do you expect to achieve them? Drawing your attention inwards and aligning your actions with your goals and your core beliefs is a surefire way to start a life audit on the right track. Long-term focus and clarity produce far more effective results because the mind is ultimately an extremely powerful thing, and there are long-term studies that show this to be true. The thoughts that we have are a direct manifestation of our conditioned beliefs, habits, and our existing neural pathways, the way our brain works. And the scientists have proven that that can be redirected by cultivating more self-awareness. So becoming self-aware in relation to making your life audit is particularly crucial. Without the self-awareness required to identify the issues and the potential threats to your mission statement, in other words, what's getting in the way of you reaching that ideal life, if you don't identify them, then they're just going to stay there. And any other changes you might be striving for could result in not getting the results you want because those hidden things are cropping up and getting in the way. It's great to know that we all possess the capacity to heal and transform our lives.
So let's just add further to that. We are all worthy of achieving our dreams. We are all worthy of fulfilling your heart's desires. So if you don't think you're worthy, then you need to learn and forgive yourself and learn to love yourself so that you can heal. And you need then to, once you've healed, to transform and take your life to the next level, whatever that looks like for you.
Mm-hmm. So again, we're going to have a resource for you, a really insightful piece published by the Chopra Center, as in, yes, Deepak Chopra. So make sure you email us and tell us you want that PDF. So now we're moving on to what is progressive mental alignment? PMA, not PMS, but PMA. Psychologists have attained or ascertained the benefits of what they call progressive mental alignment for achieving goals and making large life changes. So a life audit falls into this category of a large life change, while intelligent decision-making and awareness have always been known to affect the level of satisfaction we achieve. The science behind PMA examines the subconscious inhibitors, the things that we're actually not aware of, that we all carry around in our brains, which prevent those large-scale and longer-term changes from having permanent effect. According to the PMA website, recent discoveries have revealed improvement blockers called bad clusters. Bad clusters.
Sounding like our brain is a little computer or something.
These improvement blockers are the root cause of negative influence on our thinking processes, our beliefs, our decisions, our actions, and our behaviors, even on our health. And all of this leads to an inner resistance against changing and improving. Because after all, it's safe just to stay the way you are, right? So if something is mentally getting in the way of achieving your goals, PMA helps you make the changes to realign with your beliefs and thought patterns so that you can make those changes. Progressing in alignment with your clear mental and emotional goals is far more beneficial than progressing blindly simply because you feel you should be. So we can think of this in terms of life auditing and use it as we go forward.
So if there's anything that you're not understanding, hit the chat. If you're shy, you can phone us or email us after the fact at info@shindao.com, and we'd love to pick this up with you.
So core values, that's very, very basic to this whole program. Before embarking on any life decision or change, your core values really have to be clear. You need to know what core values you hold in order to make any of those changes or decisions and keep them in alignment with those core values so that you can maximize your success. So what's a core value? Well, it's the fundamental beliefs by which you live your life. Core values dictate your behaviors, decisions, actions, whether consciously or unconsciously. They are, in a way, your understanding of the difference between what is right and what is wrong. In order to audit your life to a more positive place of authenticity and personal fulfillment, it's crucial to identify those core values. You can't make any change in your life that's long lasting if you're not in alignment with those core values. So think about 3 people in your life who've influenced the way you see your world. This can be a starting point for identifying some of your core values. When you think about those people that have influenced your life, what are their core values, or what core values did they cause you to consider as being important?
And we sometimes find it hard to find values that are positive, so we can sometimes use a negative. If somebody's had a negative influence on your life, you would have a core value which is the opposite towards the negative influence, so that you value personal freedom, you value free speech, or you value other things where you may have been um, being less than thought of in a positive way. But we really hope and it would intend for you to find the values that really make you shine, really that that you're just deeply ingrained in you, that is a positive part of you as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So how do you recognize your core values? Well, let's start by saying that when you don't honor your core values, your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual state is going to be in a place of discomfort. Sometimes it's really obvious. The uncomfortable feeling of knowing some information about a friend's cheating partner, for example, is an obvious state of unease which stems from an act that we perceive as negative, as dishonest, as being out of integrity. And if that's the way you feel, then honesty and integrity might be high on your list of core values. Other times it's not so obvious. Things like a feeling of dis-ease about other people's actions, which you might not be able to quite justify or explain. You know, they do something and something about what they're doing doesn't feel quite right and you can't pinpoint it. Or maybe you even have some unconscious habits of your own that you picked up that deep down you know you don't make you feel good, but your clarity on the matter is just too blurred for you to figure out exactly why. So let's look at some examples. Health and well-being. When your health and well-being is at the core of your personal values, you're more likely to make healthy decisions regarding food, what you drink, the amount of exercise you get, the type of mental stimulation. If health and well-being truly is a core value, you don't sit in front of the television for 4 hours and eat popcorn and drink soda pop all the time. You value downtime, that relaxation time, and you have overall physical and mental health. Let's look at family and relationships. People who value family over other aspects of their lives are likely to thrive best in a positive home environment. And they make their decisions based around how they view their value, their family, and their personal life is impacted by their family-based decisions. Creativity might be another core value. If you're a creative person, then your art will undoubtedly inhabit an important place among your day-to-day pursuits.
Teamwork is a huge core value for team. Community is just absolutely paramount in Tina's life. She loves the sense of community, and I'm a little bit of a lone wolf, so we have a we have to work on our core values together. So the next step is to write your list of your core values. Don't compare it. So if you've got a friend working on this with you, don't compare it to anyone else. Just turn inward. Find what your core values are and do the work.
And if you have some trouble with this, guess what? Yep, we've got another resource for you. There will be a website with the whole core values list to help you identify your core values. The next step is to identify your wants versus your needs. Oh boy, lots of people have trouble with this one. What do you want versus what do you really need? What do you need to be happy? This question will almost always allow you to align closer to your core values, as opposed to the question, what do I think I need to be happy? These things
I need a 77-inch or 105-inch full screen TV with 4K.
yeah, in order to be happy. Yep.
And once I have that, I'll definitely be happy.
Yep. That might be what you think you need to be happy. That's just a want. It's not really a need.
Oh.
So you can look at wants are the things that you really could do without. Like you can get by in life without those things. So make a list of what are those things? What are those things that you want, but you really could live without? Versus what are the things that you really need, like to feel safe, to feel secure, perhaps.
And we have discovered that there's a correlation between your needs and your core values. I love running. So a need for me is a regular opportunity to run. I need to buy running shoes regularly so that I don't hurt myself. Those for me are an absolute need.
So really be honest with yourself about this. What are just wants and what are needs? Now this can bring up some uncomfortable stuff, and that's okay. We did say that the life audit process isn't necessarily easy.
And once again, we've got some more resources to help you out. You can tell that we're really wanting you to send us the email. Yes. This one probably might cause a few moments of consternation and concern. Analyzing your relationships.
Relationships are really a recurring theme in people's list and core values that have to be reevaluated during a life audit. No matter how big or how small a role people play in your life, it's important to take adequate time to consider the quality of your relationships when seeking to make some changes. The nature of relationships can mean that sometimes the conversation surrounding your life audit and any changes that might need to be made can feel a little awkward, might even cause some pain to service. As much as you can change your own beliefs and habits and your everyday practices to suit your new lifestyle, the fact remains that you cannot change another person's opinion, their image, their way of being. This is so important to remember. Like, well, if my husband would just do this, or if my kids
You've
would just
never
do
said
that.
that. No, no.
This is where you have to take responsibility for yourself and the role that you play in your relationships. So do this analysis. Number one, objectively look at your relationships with your family, or with certain friends or friend groups, and with significant others. Number two, take into account the dialogue, the conversations you have, the general sense of positivity or negativity that you have when you interact with these people. And three, here's the biggie. Note if your relationships are taking you closer to your core values or away from your core values? This one is a really big one for people in their younger years as they're exploring who they are and deciding who their friends are. Sometimes that they can be led astray into doing things that really aren't in alignment with their core values, just for the sake of having friends. So, one vital thing to any successful relationship is this underlying agreement or the similarity of some of your key core values. If they're not there, it can be hard to maintain a relationship of value, and it might be time to make some changes. There's a really insightful article which talks about the patterns in relationships we tend to repeat over time because of the things that we experienced in our childhood. This will be really interesting for people who kind of keep falling into the same kind of relationship over and over and over again. Yeah. So again, yep, it's in the PDF. Here's another step in the life audit. Identify your conditioned patterns, those things that you do habitually without even thinking about.
I leave lights on.
Mm-hmm. Enough said. Uh, so your conditioned beliefs refer to the subconscious beliefs and attitudes that you form as young kids, generally before you're 6 years old. And these patterns form as a direct result of the immediate environment we live in, the people we come into contact with, the attitudes of our parents, and the caregivers we experience as we're growing up. Part of identifying your core values is identify the thought patterns and acknowledge the impact they have upon your actions and your current life situation. Those conditioned beliefs can be some of the most hindering obstacles, and you will encounter them as you strive to improve your life for sure. They're difficult because they're often so difficult to identify. I mean, they're subconscious. You don't know about them, right? But when you can figure out what's going on, it can be difficult to accept them sometimes, but when you can do that, then you can start to make some changes. And that's where things really begin to shift.
And this is an interesting one because one of the easiest patterns to identify is when we get angry or we get annoyed.
Mm.
The standing in line at the grocery store, somebody butting in line and at the movie theater, or somebody cutting you off at in traffic.
Yeah, all of these things are the things that push your buttons. Everybody's heard that phrase, right? So when you can figure out what's at the core of what pushes your buttons, like you didn't really get upset about that thing that happened. It's about the way somebody made you feel when you were a child when that kind of situation happened, likely. So again, there's another article, yep, that explains some very direct examples of what conditioned beliefs are and the impact that they can have on your life. Another part of the life audit is to check out your environment.
We have an entire PowerPoint series on your environment. And I'll cheat. I'll tell you, your environment is 100% responsible for your success.
So what's your environment? Well, basically everything that affects you that's in your outer world. So things like the place you live, the place you sleep in, the area that you work in, the quality of your light, air, sound in these places. All of these things can influence your perception of life.
So, yeah, as you go through the life audit, look at all the various elements of the environment that surrounds you and ask yourself, is your house cluttered? Science has proven that clutter and messy living spaces actually significantly affect our happiness and clarity and anxiety level. And I know for me personally, when things get too cluttered, I get a little bit of angst in me.
Absolutely. We all do. We may not recognize that that's what's happening, but it happens. Um, you can look at whether your home environment is bright or dark. Is it large or small? All of these factors can impact your overall mentality when you get home after a long day. The space that you consider home is a vital element of how you form your personal internal landscape. And if you're aware of that something in your environment needs changing, then it is worth taking the time to do so, even if it means investing a little more time, money, and effort than you've become accustomed to. That's a little personal point there. Yep, I'm looking at my environment in my office and going, things really need to change in order for me to get more effective and productive. You can spring clean, donate unworn clothes to charity, do a clothes swap with some friends.
See, that's an interesting one, that your values and your core values and beliefs come in here. So you have this pile of stuff that you're no longer going to use. What are you doing with it? If your core value is just to throw it, or just throw it away because you have no value to it, or are you environmentally conscious and you care and then you recycle it or you reuse it or repurpose it? Just core values show up everywhere.
Absolutely. Environment is huge to me, so I can't throw anything in the garbage. There has to be another way to repurpose. Okay, another part of your life audit is looking at your career. What do you do? Most people, for part of their everyday lives, are working at a job. Well, working, even if you're an entrepreneur, you still have a space that you work in. And if there's any negativity in that workspace, it will be impacting the level of work that you're doing. Whether the problem lies in the actual work that you do or the environment in which you do the work that you do, and it helps to clarify which of those things is it, it can help you decide, is my job really my problem, or is it the environment that is the problem? If it's the career that really is a problem because it causes you excess stress and anxiety, or it's just not serving you in a way that feels fulfilling, then perhaps it's time to make that change.
And so, yeah, if you're going to make the change, you can need to, before you do that, you need to ask yourself, do you have to stay in the office? Do you have to stay in the office? Can you work from home? Is it possible to find a new position within the same field, the same company, in a similar field? Do you have the resources to upskill or change directions completely? Remember that a career change does not mean that you have failed, just means that it's maybe time for you to move. That's all. No big deal.
And that moving might be within the organization that you're working with, or it might be to a whole new organization.
So we've got a resource on why career changes are actually good. So we're going just to delve into a little deeper here, or another, just a little, come back to it, circle around. So how to determine if you should make a career change?
Okay. Even with facts and statistics behind us, it can be normal to have doubts about uprooting everything you've worked hard for, especially those who are baby boomers. They were raised to believe you get an education, you get a job, and you stay there till you retire. Well, we know that that's just not the case in this day and age. People are moving around and changing jobs all the time. So it might help to ask some questions. Does my current job align with my core values and allow me to feel a true sense of fulfillment? Does my current workspace cause me stress and anxiety just by thinking about it? How can I make changes to change this? Am I using my passions and my hobbies in my work? Could I orchestrate a way to integrate them into my work life? These are the kinds of questions that allow you to go deep. And it's pretty understandable that career changes are among the life shifts which may not be as straightforward as others. And it helps to consider the bigger picture and really plan ahead. If it feels overwhelming, you can search for courses or paths of generating income that align with your core values and passions. That is a really great place to start. One really important thing to note is this. Forget closing yourself off of possibilities. You might say, oh, this really interests me, but, oh, those buts can be killers.
And what as passion test facilitators and life coaches, what we've discovered is so many people put, I can't make any money off of it.
Oh, yeah. So many people will not follow their heart's passions because they just don't see how they could make a living doing it. And even if you can't make a living doing it, you still need to follow those passions and find a way to work it into your life somehow. And somehow, if you really trust and follow that passion, miraculously, the universe finds a way to support you.
Yep.
So here's the thing that you can do is ask yourself that age-old question. What would you do if money was no object? Believe yourself capable of starting and achieving anything, and more than likely, you will succeed.
And the addition to that is we don't know the answers to every question, and you don't know the answer. So if you're open yourself to the possibilities that this can occur, I believe and I know that crazy possibilities have occurred. You may, and I'll add to it, for every dream that you have, most likely someone else has already done it and is living it from pretty darn near the same situation and same conditions that you're in it. So it is possible.
Absolutely. And one of the things, again, coming back to the fact that we're passion test facilitators, when we look at coming up with what's really important in your life and looking at what your ideal life can look like, we always finish it with this or something better, because the universe might have even more in store for you than you could even imagine. Now, next in the life audit is aligning with a positive spiritual and mental health. So as well as aligning with your core beliefs, your values and passions, it's vital when you're making this life audit that you prioritize positive physical and mental health practices during and after your life audit. Without health and well-being, any life changes and experiences seem far less vibrant than they could be if you don't have a full bill of mental and physical health.
If you don't believe this, just go to a senior's place. Just go and walk into the hospital ward, and you will see aged people complaining about bad hips and that and all of their bodies because they didn't look after themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get anything from this talk, please, please, please look after your body.
And look after your mental and spiritual health as well. That means you need to take downtime. You need to do things that you find that fill you up, recreation, lifestyle things that make you feel good. That's the bottom line. You want to feel good in your life. And having some sort of spiritual belief in something greater than yourself can be a way to ensure spiritual health as well as mental health. And yes, there are more resources that outline some lifestyle changes you can.
Excuse me, sorry, but and one of the ways for spiritual growth is is using meditation. And it's not a new phenomenon.
Oh my gosh, no, meditation goes back centuries and centuries. It's just that the Western world has finally got science investigating it and going, oh, gee, there's something to this. Well, I wonder, oh my God, like, no kidding. It wouldn't be around for centuries and centuries if there wasn't something to it and it didn't work. But now we have science to prove it. And Meditation is a way of quieting the mind, of finding a sense of inner peace and calm. And it brings a sense of self-awareness, happiness, and well-being. Meditation is almost a necessary part of achieving that. There is a wonderful meditation practice called loving kindness. And this is something so simple in that it is simply taking time to envision something that gives your heart that warm, fuzzy feeling. It might be cuddling a kitten or
Or a dog. We're not against.
yeah, just because we're cat lovers does not mean we don't appreciate dogs as well. Yes. So just envisioning something that gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling inside and just focus on it. Just focus on it for as long as you can. This is loving kindness meditation. So simple and so effective.
So, have you ever tried it?
We'd love to know how you feel about it. If you have, you
Yeah.
can type something in the comments. Fitness and health. We've mentioned this several times already. Everything is connected. So, a large portion of this life audit does revolve around increasing your fitness level and optimizing your health. So, make fitness a priority, but don't get obsessed about it. Oh, some people go to extremes, and that can be just as crazy because you can overexert your body and cause more mental stress as a result. So, and there are different phases of being on the fitness bandwagon. Sometimes you fall off. Sometimes you go over crazy. As always, balance is important. But it's normal to go through those shifts and those phases. Bless you, yes. The second thing is set small, achievable goals. Once did a coaching program, and the fellow said, "Have you ever lit a campfire?" So did you do that by throwing big logs on there, or did you start with a little bit of kindling? And anybody who's ever tried to light a fire knows that you got to start with little kindling and get that going before you throw on the big logs. So do the same thing with your health and fitness. Make little changes, one little change at a time. It might be that you're going to park farther away from the store door so that you have to actually walk into the store a little bit longer. Or you stop taking the elevator and start taking the stairs. There are so many things that you can do, and just adding 10 to 15 minutes a day of whatever activity brings you joy. If it's dancing in your living room or skating or walking the dog, whatever it is, incorporate the things that you love to do in your life so that you'll actually do them.
And we haven't talked about it, but part of fitness and health is eating properly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not spending any time in this particular presentation because we have PowerPoint presentations that we'll do at another date just on healthy eating.
But know this, if you had a plate and you could divide it into quarters, the top 2 quarters of your plate are vegetables. 1/4 is your protein, and 1/4 is some kind of carbohydrate, starch, grain, whatever. Even if all you do is follow that basic plate eating plan, you will be healthier. Okay.
Well, this is the one that I have the hardest time with.
Yeah, we do live in an age of digital obsession, and you fall right in there in that age of digital obsession, my hon. And it can be a challenge to actually be honest with how much time you spend in front of a screen and how that is impacting your life. There are 2.56 billion, yes, billion people who use social media. So it's very likely you've encountered some addictive and damaging nature of being constantly online that does impact our society. There just isn't any hiding from it. Kids used to go outside and play, and now they sit in front of a screen. They're inside using their thumbs instead of outside using their bodies. Again, the impact on the physical health. Doing a digital detox is a great thing to do. So it can increase your productivity, your positivity, give you better sleep, quality of sleep, and improve your relationships. So it's something you want to consider. Can you spend a little less screen time and a little more in-person time? Or, like the image shows, a little more time with a good book or a good pet or a whatever. Okay, here are some ways to actually do this digital detox. So think about when you're using your social media, why you're using it, and how you're using it. Are you checking your phone first thing in the morning? Do you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through all the social media stuff?
Nope, 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 not
Really?
me. Nope, 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 nope.
There's no agenda. You're really not looking for anything specific. You're just kind of scrolling through it all and watching every little pet video that comes along. Um, are there people that you only contact through social media? Ooh, there's an alarm bell. Maybe you could ask them to use another platform so you can lower your usage. Are you drawn back to your smartphone or your laptop whenever you get bored? Does social media lower your productivity or actually getting less done in the day because you're just spending time flipping through those?
Yeah, mindlessly. Like, there's a proper use of social media, and are you using it appropriately for your needs? Or are you just back to the mindlessly wasting your time?
And here's a really, really big question. Again, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're spending time in your digital world? If you're feeling positive and upbeat after, it served you well. If you're feeling a little dragged down by all that negativity, maybe it's time to stay away.
Well, this one is Tina's big on right now. Well, actually, we're both on. We're both really working to declutter.
It's really important because, as we've said before, your home, your working space, if these things are messy, cluttered, strewn with possessions, items, stuff that you don't even regularly use, but you just got a little too lazy to put it away, or it doesn't have a home, so there is no place to put it away. All of this stuff drains your energy. It does impact you. The more old stuff that's hanging around, the more energy it takes to take care of it, whether you're really taking care of it or not, but mentally it takes up some space. So, tips for decluttering: be brutal.
Oh, Tina's had a hard time with this one,
Yep.
but she's learning. She is learning really well.
Yep. Clothing, is it something that you really wear, or are you hanging on to because you might fit into it again, or because you loved it at one time, but honestly, it doesn't even look good on you anymore? It's time to get rid of it. If anybody is on the Marie Kondo thing, you grab the clothes, you say, does this bring me joy? And if it doesn't, you give it away.
So if you haven't used it in 6 months, then get rid of it. And when we're talking about get rid of it, back to your values. Come back to your values. Like, if you have a hard time, like Tina has a hard time taking it, she can put it in a pile um, for repurpose with no problem. It's the actual to throw it in a garbage can. She has to go through 7 different steps to get it to it because she needs to reuse it. She needs to, or repurpose it. She needs to
repair it.
Yeah, all of the
Recycle it.
yeah, and those are all good because those are high values for Tina.
Absolutely.
So, and if something has specific sentimental or memories associated to it, take a picture of it. If it's not practical, take a picture of it. Take a video of it. Store it in your library, your image library, but still get rid of it.
Yeah, you don't actually have to have the physical item if the only value it has is sentimentality. If it has a practical use and you're sentimental about it, well, then of course it makes sense to keep it. But when you free up some space in your home, in your office, there's just the sense of, that happens.
And the caveat to decluttering is don't reclutter.
Yeah,
Don't, because
yeah,
you filled up and now everything is bare, don't add back to it.
yeah. Keep that empty space. There's this saying that when you leave physical space in your home, you have space for great things to come your way. Okay, so now you decide on an action plan. You've got an understanding of your core values. You have an idea of what needs to be changed in your life. You've faced some of the underlying root causes of existing problems, and now it's time to make that action plan. So you can tailor this to suit yourself in a lot of different ways. Most people find it easier to keep it as simple as possible. As humans, we want to complicate things, but simple is always better. The key to a good action plan is to be realistic, but honest and open with your goals. Okay, so you will have written down your ideal life, what that looks like. So now you create an action plan. You break down your goals, your intentions into workable steps. So, okay, you've got work goals. Okay, it's to negotiate a promotion, let's say. So, what are the very individual steps that you need to do? Well, you need to look at what else is going on in the workplace and what are other people paying for the job that you're doing. Um, Make a list of the great things that you contribute, the extras that you do. You got to build a case for that promotion. Maybe it's a relationship goal that you're working on. Say it's to spend more time with your parents or spend more time with your friends. You can adjust where you're spending your time. If the goal is to spend more time with your parents, then maybe you have to give up a little more time with your friends for a period of time or give up something.
So this is your action plan. So, and it's based on your core values. So you need to put, you need to do what is right for you. So, and to do this, you want you to try the stop, start, more of, or less formula. So we want you to stop procrastinating and over analyzing. And how many in what is that?
Analysis
Yeah,
paralysis.
that's what it is. And so just stop it. Stop procrastinating and just take a step, a tiny step, a little step. The other thing, we want you to start exercising every day. It's amazing when what your body and your mind and your health and your whole attitude changes when you actually start moving and you're feeling healthier.
And let's just clarify once again, this doesn't mean you have to get a gym membership and go to the gym for an hour a day. Start exercising can mean you run up and down your own stairs in your home, or you get out for a walk every day, whatever.
Wherever your health is, to increase it beyond that could be, yeah, just as simple as going for a walk because you may have mobility issues.
Or you spend all your time sitting in a chair. So just getting out and going for a walk is actually a
Yeah.
big first step.
The other thing, make more time for loved ones, people that you care about. Your life will change when you are with quality people that you care and love.
Oh, maybe we should take our own
No,
advice.
I'm not following this next one. Spend
Less.
spend less time eating out. Because yes, it's a beautiful social time. Yes, it allows for conversations. But one, it takes away from your health. It takes eating out a lot of many times in a week. Actually, you're over just by the portion sizes. We're overeating.
And let's face it, not necessarily the best quality ingredients going into the food that we're eating out with, and a lot of extra fats that, yeah, it goes on and on and on. Better to cook your own home cooked meals.
So the bottom line for your action plan, it comes down to the simple task of making small changes every single day and aligning your decisions to meet your mission and your core values.
So again, Stop procrastinating, start exercising, spend more time with loved ones and less time eating out.
So we have a whole list of resources through that we've used to create this PowerPoint, and we'd love to share it with you, and we will. And we want, oh,
Yep, stay on your toes. Okay, some final tips here. Be consistent. If you plan on achieving change, you must consistently follow through with these plans. That means you don't skip over any of the elements in your action plan or half-heartedly complete the part you want to achieve. Be honest. This follows the rest. Be honest and open with yourself about what you want to achieve, the practical resources available to you to do so, and we're giving you lots here in that PDF. And the belief and the drive that you wish to cultivate is crucial if you want to see any lasting change. And don't give up hope. If something goes wrong, and it will, something always goes wrong, know that you just pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you get going again.
okay. So, any questions? And if you can post them in the chat box, or you can email us at info@Qingdao and we will answer the questions, or you can call us at 403-285-5266 or our 1-884-807-3925 toll-free number. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
And we'd love your feedback. So if you have any comments, questions, or feedback of any kind, you can either leave them in the chat box or send them to that email address that we have here on the screen again, info@qingdao.com. So here's the reminder. Send Life Audit is the subject line for your email to get this PDF with all of these resources that we're referencing here. We've glossed over this really quickly. It's not going to do you any good if you don't actually sit down and do these exercises, make these lists, write out these action steps. Heart and mind matters. This is our bi-weekly uplift. Every other Tuesday morning, we send out an inspirational article, a quote of the week, a YouTube video. It's intended to give you a little uplift in your week. And if you go to just go to bestyoucanbe.com.ca. What is our address? Oh my gosh, bestyoucanbe.ca.
It's been on the little ticker all in the bottom randomly through the whole presentation.
Oh my goodness, long day. Yes, you can subscribe there. Go to bestyoucanbe.ca, put your name and email address in the little box on the side, and you will receive this uplift every other Tuesday morning.
Wednesday mornings, Tina has a treat for you. She has a Facebook Live presentation with a new guest every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m.
Mountain Time. And it's so amazing because I have talked to so many different people from so many different walks of life. The only thing that they all have in common is that they are all passionate people who live from their heart.
You do not need a Facebook account to be able to view it. Just go into there and you can view it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On our blog on bestyoucanbe.ca, we've uploaded all the videos onto YouTube, so you can watch them anytime you like, and you don't have to have a Facebook account.
So this is my entire sales thing. We've created a page called the Wisdom of the Ages, and it's a membership site, and it's based on learning from the teachers. Wayne Dyer created a book where he experienced the Tao Te Ching for a year, and his revelations about the ancient wisdoms of the master. We've gone and found many of the masters from the modern day teachers. Who did they learn from? And so we've got the ancient text, we've got the older text of what like Tony Robbins learned from,
what Wayne
Dyer
the
learned.
actual Tao Te Ching that he studied to write his book.
And yeah, so if you've ever asked questions and turned to a spiritual leader, You want to know who taught your current spiritual leader or your new thought leader or your personal development leader. There's a good chance that we've got it on the wisdom of the ages. Excuse me. Our next webinar is on core values. So we're going to take this, what we've briefly touched on in how to do or your value audit, and we're going to go deeper with your core values on February 5th. And you can sign up here. And I just want to say
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking the time to listen to what we have to say, to take in everything that we've assembled here. And gosh, we threw a lot at you at a fast level, and there was lots to say in a short time. So please do take advantage of the PDF, get those results, do some of these exercises, and watch how your life can change for the better.
and just as important, we'd love to know how you're doing. When you've done something and you've implemented your plan and taken
Mhm.
a small step in your action, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, even if it's just an email to say, "Hey, since watching the life audit, I'm now parking my car further away from the door and I'm getting a little extra walking into my day." Or I actually decluttered my office and I got rid of those piles of paper and it feels better, just like you said it would. We'd love to hear those things.
So thank you and have a great day, evening, whenever you're listening to this.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and subscribe to Heart and Mind Matters. It's a really great read. We've had people who've been reading for more than 13 years, so it's got to be good.
Namaste.
Namaste.